Here I am going to present a paper on the topic of development of contemporary tribal literature in quest of globalization in the context of Kerala. The tribal literature is the literature that is searching for the identity of revealing the past and present form of exploitation of outsiders and the threats of tribal identity, existence, and resistance. In Kerala, Kerala having 36 tribal communities. In these communities, 5 communities are called as PVTGs. Katanaika, Kurumbar, Kadar, Cholanaikan, and Koragar of Kasargod as called as these PVTG communities. And the 1.45% is the tribal population compared to the total population of the Kerala population. That is the tribal population percentage. Almost all tribes are living in the forest or the fringes of this forest, and some very few communities are living in the mingle with the mainstream communities like Paniya and all. Here I am going to present my topic on 2 stages. How the tribal literature comes. First, we can see the tribal literature developed into 2 streams like traditional streams of tribal literature and the contemporary stream of tribal literature. Here, all these tribal communities are having their own history. These traditional histories mainly based on their origin, myths, migration, food, ethnomedicine, like that. Sometimes rituals and other medicinal practices also. Like this, the traditional way of tribal literature comes. In traditional way, we can see the information or the literature passed through by the oral form of nature. In traditional stream, the stories and songs are passed through oral forms. All part of their life was connected with stories or song. How it connected with like the stories or songs? If a community have a agricultural practice, they connect their agricultural activities like a song or like a story, and these practices pass generation by generation through these type of songs or stories. And in this oral tradition, we can see the creator or the writer, means this creator of the oral story, because these are passed through by generation to generation. That's why we can't identify this person can develop this type of songs or create this type of dance form like that. In the case of Mullukuruma community in Wayanad district of Kerala, they have a traditional agricultural festival called Uchar. This festival is related with the agriculture. Dance programs were performed after this cultivation of this their land. They performed dance and offering songs for their traditional goddess, and other neighboring tribal communities also participated in this festival. This is a type of offering to God when they get more production or more yield from their agricultural field. And like, this is the case of agricultural activities. They made a, or they passed their agricultural techniques or agricultural offerings to their next generation. Likewise, in another community called as Mavilan and Malavatan from Kasaragod district of Kerala, they are performing a dance at the time of their marriage. It is called Mangalam Kali. It is a traditional dance form with the songs played by both men and women. They addressing and kidding the couples within this performance. They're still performing this dance program in their marriage functions till now. And also, some of the communities in Kerala, they're performing shamanic activities, performance in their traditional way. One of the best example is Adiya community in Wayanad. One of the presentation was mentioned that Gadiga is one of the shamanic ritual in the Kadar community, and Betakurma also have this type of shamanic performance. In Gadiga is an art form practiced among the Adiya community of Wayanad district. It is a kind of dance, and there are two variations of Gadiga called Natu Gadiga and Puja Gadiga. While Natu Gadiga is staged publicly, Puja Gadiga is performed for ritualistic purposes, mainly to cure illness or the part of a ritual of having a safe delivery of child. Here Gadiga is performed as a curing mechanism. So the Gadiga, the art form or the tribal form of art, is placed here a role for like a curing mechanism. And in Idukki district, one community is called Mannan. They are also having a agricultural festival like Kalavut. Kalavut is an agricultural festival, and also Kalavut is it is a program for finding their marriage partner in their community. All are gathering in the Kalavut festival, and the community members searching for their best partner in this festival. And also in some area of Kerala, especially in Palakkad, they have a Kooth. Tamil Nadu also we can see that Kooth. They called it as Harishchandra Kooth. It is related with the old king, and they perform this Kooths like a street drama like that. So this type of traditional festivals we can see in different communities in Kerala. Here we can going through this type of traditional art forms. Mainly they are making or creating this forms are depends upon their life, culture and environmental situations. And especially these all forms are passed through by the oral forms. In the case of ethnic medicine, they have a rich knowledge. This knowledge has passed to generations. All communities have had headman or medicine man. He is expert in ethnomedicine. If any of them had a disease within this community, medicine man will cure the illness or that disease, because he knows all the. It is like he knows all mantra and something like that. So all headmans having the traditional knowledge like ethnomedicine, mantra, and like all that. In the medical oral literature of this group had a long tradition, and it's very important in their day-to-day life. Political organization of tribal communities are traditional. All communities have a headman with different names like Mupan, Chamakaran, like that. The headman must be a person with all traditional knowledge. He must be a medicine man, leader, politician, like uh, so we can call them as a repository of indigenous knowledge. We can call the headman like that. The traditional literature stream is very wide in nature, and the importance of the stream is all these traditions are passed through the oral forms of generation to generations. Then next stream is contemporary stream of literature. In the contemporary stream of tribal literature, here the writers used in scripts, they are used in Malayalam, Tamil or Kannada scripts for their writings. In early stage of contemporary writings, we can see the continuity of traditional literature, and then the script plus community start to write their languages in modern scripts. That means in the early stage of contemporary writings, they continue to write their own stories and poems and their own personal situations and environment like that. Some of them, like here we can see Ashok Marayur. He is here. He started his writing with their own language, but he is using the modern script like Malayalam or something like that. After that, then some of them trying to start writing with the mainstream literature. Early mentioned, Mr. Narayan is the main example of that. He is one of the famous writer in the Malayalam literature, and also he won the Sahitya Akademi award for his writing. Narayan is belonging to a Malaria tribal group, and his works are communicating the social and cultural situations in their own community. He is not writing in a personal stories. Every time he is trying to focus on the issues and challenges of their community. He is not trying to write his own stories. He is focused on his communities. He trying to focus about the community problems of his community and express the situations where he lived. Main work of Narayan are Pachareti, Vannala, Uralikudi, Nisahayande Nilavili, and Tiraskarude Nale. Some of his works are translated into other languages. Mainstream Malayalam writers like K.J. Baby, Indu V. Menon, C.S. Chandriga are published works on tribal life. We can see some of the mainstream mainstream literatures like Indu V. Menon is here, and they all are trying to write tribal stories. But we can see if they write about the tribal people, they are still they are in the outside of this community, and they're imagining that the community is like on that point they writes. But in the case of Narayan, he is within the community and he have his own experience and observation. So he is trying to write in another way compared to other modern mainstream writers. Mr. Narayan's writing is differ. He had the insider perspective and he have the real life experience. So words are powerful than others whom try to write about the tribal life. Here he is trying to create a new methodology in writings with his own life experience. One of the other famous personality is Mr. Ashok Marayur. He is here. He is the author where writing his strong rights in the living condition of his community. His Pacha Vidu, it is a book he is going to publish. discussed a lot in that book, modern writers discussed a lot. He is trying to express his life, culture, and environment between the lines. We can see the protest against the exploitation and marginalization of the community. And some other writers like Damodaran Gangadharan from Urali community, Bindu from Paniya community, Sindhu Krishnadas is here, she is from Vettakuruma community, Sukumaran also here, Sukumaran Chaligatha from Adia community, and one another personality is Danya from Mavilan community, then Chitra Katunaikan community. All of them are new buds of the contemporary tribal literature. These writers are mainly focused on poem and story writings with their own languages and with modern scripts and main literature too. The contemporary literature writers focused in the difficult situations happened in their community. Reasons of varies from community, the writing methodology and the writing topics or reasons is varies from community to community, because all communities are faced different types of problems in their life. And here I am going to conclude this topic like the globalization is a modern, we know modernization, globalization is a modern era become a solution to solve all the human problems. Each problems think that through each person thinks that through globalization the whole world will merge into a family, global family or a global village. But the real world different things happen. In developing and underdeveloping countries, the fruit of this process did not reach equally in the segment of society, especially the marginal classes and the tribal community. Kerala is one of the state of India, a democratic country where the tribal community could not share the fruit of development programs equally like other caste people. The tribal are exploited more in the constitution. There is some provision of education and for the development of their socio-economic condition. Pattern and method of ownership have changed. Land and forest in some places which are the habitat of most of the tribe and also the source of income have exploited for globalization process for which they have to lose the tenancy. These situations influence the contemporary tribal writers. They focus their writings based on this unequal phenomenon. From here, the black writing begins. The color of a writing lies not in the author. It lies in the words with which he or she express it. And in Kerala, the black writers have the extreme politics and they do not consider the figurative or colorful writing in their literature. Thank you.